Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet the founder of the North Texas Disability Chamber. He'll share his incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, in my long news career, I had the privilege of interviewing everyone from presidents to A-list stars from Hollywood, so it takes a lot to impress me, but my next guest truly impresses me with what he's done in his short life. Dylan Rafaty is in the studio. He's the founder of the North Texas Disability Chamber. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Jeff.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, you and I have known each other through Success North Dallas. Shout out to Bill Wallace and Casey Haston. And we've met several times, and I saw you at a recent event, Ski Plano, and I said, you gotta come on my show to share your journey. How would you sum up, I mean, you're 33 years old, just recently became a homeowner.
Yep.
What do you think your purpose on the planet is?
Well, that's a very good question. I think my purpose in life is to, one, to educate, and then give individuals, organizations alike, the resources, the tools to be successful. But also, the next thing is inspire and encourage action. Without action, you don't get things done. In the business world, we think about ROI. Any type of investment, whether monetary, talent, or resources, we look at what is the ROI coming back to me and how is it investing. I've been dedicated over a decade of supporting individuals and organizations within the disability landscape. But I've learned that sometimes those resources don't come right away, but it is coming in increments over the last decade. So
I'm going to pull up off of your webpage is your bio, and as we scroll down this bio, it really goes on for miles. I mean, as I started to look at some of the awards you've won, I mean, do you look at your own resume and say, wow, I did all that?
At one point, I said I need to add, as a young graduate of special education, I knew that I had to prove myself. Not that I need to prove myself, but I knew that I had to get involved, show my worth in some areas. In other areas, I had to show my skill sets and my abilities through mentorship, to board engagement. So reality is now, looking back, the amount of time and sweat equity that I provided, I think it is instrumental, the progress that I've been able to make.
Sure, and about 5 years ago, you ran for the school board in Plano, and it was I think just an amazing campaign. You did a video back then. I watched the whole thing. It still holds up, so let's go ahead and roll this video.
Hello, my name is Dylan Rafaty, and I am a proud special education graduate at Plano West Senior High, class of 2009. I am also a social entrepreneur, author, and national public speaker. I also hold a number of volunteerism roles that speaks for itself. My personal experiences throughout my time in public education and as an undergraduate at Collin College was not easy, but because of my positivity and love for people, I kept going. In April of 2012, I self-published a book entitled Occupy Special Education, Children Should Be Seen and Heard. This book started as a memoir celebrating my young and multicultural life, growing up in North Dallas, and grew in critical look back of my journey in public education, which spent floundering in special education. Through this book, I hope to highlight what I saw as a need. The need for students in special education to speak up about their experiences in public education and the importance of having a transitional guidance throughout their journey in education. As a social entrepreneur, I help youth and adults with disabilities to be empowered through employment and entrepreneurship. Since 2015, I have earned achievements that continue to become a better advocate for public education. My achievements include an appointment on the Texas Governor's Committee on People with Disabilities. Also, an appointment on the Plano ISD Special Education Advisory Board Committee. And lastly, serving as chair of the Social Responsibility Committee for the International Association of Ice Cream Distributors and Vendors. I also earned an associate's degree at Collin College and will soon earn a bachelor's degree in industrial and organizational psychology at the University of Phoenix. And lastly, I have done much public speaking before parents, educators, and members of the disability community. These accomplishments were made possible because of my ability to overcome obstacles throughout my entrepreneurship journey. It is because of my strong work ethics, determination, passion, personality, and continuous drive to positively serve others. Indeed, my experiences are different, but I do believe we can accomplish anything if we set our minds to it. I am proud to be running for Plano ISD on 3 values. The 3 values are transparency, inclusion, and collaboration. I want to continue to serve in a large capacity to make a positive and meaningful difference in the lives of others. I look forward to working with you, and please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you. I, Dylan Rafaty, approve this message.
Wow. Well, you had to gain a lot of confidence from just running.
Yes. I will say it brought out politics is not easy. It brought out the worst and good in people. But one thing that kept me going was my positivity. At that top point of time, in any local nonpartisan race, it takes a lot of courage, determination, and sacrifice. But one thing that I've learned, and is what's propelled me to the person I am today, is my boost in self-confidence and determination to do the right thing.
And he has not ruled out running for office again. You're not ready to make an announcement right now, but I hope you'll come back when you do. We also want to talk about the North Texas Disability Chamber. We've got some video from a ceremony that you guys conducted a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So tell me more about the chamber, who your sponsors are, who your members are.
Yeah, so the North Texas Disability Chamber was founded in 2020 under a new name. Previously was started in 2017. But the chamber today is focused on community education, community building, and interactive engagement with the abled community and the disability community. Why? Well, there's a lot of obstacles that people with disabilities and their families and our allies and advocates struggle with, and that is housing, healthcare, transportation, public safety. People ask me all the time, why the chamber? I said, well, we're not a chamber of commerce. We're a nonprofit chamber, a 501c3, dedicated to education and events. And the challenge there is sometimes we need to work with our partners and our members to provide opportunities for our community. And some of our partners include BNSF Railway, Vistra Corp, Dallas Mavericks, the PGA of America, you name it. There's Texas Rangers Baseball Club. There are a number of organizations that are continuing to sign on to the commitment to disability inclusion, accessibility, and equity in our Texas.
Wow, that's you just named off some really big organizations.
Yes, and they were not easy to get. I think part of that is relationship building, is getting to know them, getting to know who their organization are, what are their missions, what are their values, what kind of investment they're looking to tap into. And my job is to ensure that we're meeting the mission of the organization. And our values are community, collaboration, confidence, which sometimes people forget. We often lack confidence going forward, and then equity and inclusion. And sure enough, organizations are buying into it, and they're investing their time, their talents, and treasures to ensure equity in our community.
Sure, and sometimes you're putting a spotlight on an issue that a city or organization has no idea is a problem. Like you mentioned to me before the show that closed captioning in Plano was an issue?
It was. Here's the thing. Plano became the 7th city in America to adopt a resolution or ordinance, one of the two, but Plano specifically adopted a resolution to include closed captioning on public-facing televisions. And then City of Allen became the 8th city to do it. And so the reason we did it, and this is led by Merrill Evans, an accessibility leader in Plano, who advocated for it to the city manager, and then I came on board to sign on. But we are encouraging more cities, local governments, to start doing that. If you're serving the public, what benefit good you could do is by adding closed captions, including you, Jeff. Anything that you do on any video content, closed captioning add a whole new audience that you might not be aware about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you have a big event coming up in September.
Yes, September 10th, we're having our North Texas Disability Chamber Awards luncheon, where we recognize individuals, maybe organizations, for their contributions, whether it's public service, community impact, people with disabilities, as well as our executive leaders that are advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in our community.
Sure, and I'm sure you're still looking for table sponsors and sponsors of the organization overall. So in the last minute or so, why don't you give a plea to the people watching on why they need to get involved?
So your level of engagement and impact can vary. For some, it's in-kind, donating their services or products. Other people, they provide their money. But what we don't want is just your time and money. We want you actively involved in our community. Without your involvement, it is hard to get things done. And I'm a doer. And I say that because I don't want just your money and time. I want you to be involved in the process. I want you to feel the impact. So reality is, if you're a business or entrepreneur, look online on ntxdc.org to learn about what we're doing and the impact we're doing. Show up and show out is what St. Marshall would always say, is show up to our events, show up to our engagements and activities, and then show out by telling people what is actually being done. What can we do to be a part of the conversation? So reach out to us and find out more.
Outstanding. So well said. Thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Absolutely.
We're going to end with two websites. His personal website, which is DylanRafaty.com, and then the Disability Chamber is ntxdc.org. The great Dylan Rafaty. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.